business address at 615 East Elk Avenue, Chamber of Commerce. I want to give you some highlights on Omnium and the half marathon and some new exciting events that we have coming to town. This last weekend, I saw many of you out on Sunday to enjoy the Omnium. Some highlights are that we had 290 cyclists. That's a 65% increase this year than from last year. That's more than we've seen, that they've seen in the last 4 years, including when they had it in Johnson City. So that's great. It's showing us that there is growth, and it's growth in this community, which we love to see. More than 60% of these cyclists stayed in Carter County for the weekend of races. Most families traveled with friends and families, and we estimate about 450 people traveled to our region for this weekend event. We saw cyclists from 17 different states. So these are not just, there were some locals, it was less than 10% of people that were locals. So that's 90% that were from at least 100 miles away or more. Many of them came out to the first Friday, enjoyed the band and local fare from our town. Sunday, Criterium, local businesses reported decent to good sales throughout the day. What can we do better for next year? Well, we're going to continue to work with the race promoters on advertising. We'll insist on a first aid station. Good grief. And continue to build on this event for our community. There's talk of adding a Saturday night evening component downtown on Elk Avenue to make this an event more of a destination attraction. A follow-up from the Music and Miles, they're actively planning to return.
May I stop you just 1 second?
Yes.
I feel like I want to share this with you. Somebody spoke to me. I know you said, how can we make it better? There was someone said, I guess there were some cyclists that weren't in the race area that had gotten out about church time, getting out, and people getting out of church.
Were they straggling? Were they straggling?
I think they were.
We'll get them in. We'll reel them in. I heard that too. I appreciate you telling that. And that's something we have to work with the race promoter, because he's very, they're very, one-sided, and they only see one thing, and we get that. That's why we're going to work with them on also having a first aid station.
And the other thing was there an accident involving an animal?
There was from my understanding, there was a dog that ran out in the road. I don't know where this dog came from. Wes, was it yours? There was a dog that ran out the road, and a cyclist swerved into another cyclist and flipped over the little the orange barricade, and fell into the river and broke his collarbone.
But the race was over when I got down there. The race was already over, and then he turned around and told, I think it was Jerry Bradley, that a dog ran out in front of him, and I was like, well, the race is already finished.
Right.
So
That's probably
I don't
does this
understand
kind of
that.
get my 2 minutes? Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to add.
Yeah, and we saw that too, and that we addressed it as well, that there needs to be more sufficient first aid, because we don't want to see people get hurt like this and then have to drive themselves to some more shows. That's not right.
It took 56 minutes from, and I'm not happy about the 56 minutes when the girl broke her ribs, her shoulder, and her collarbone, and her face was tore up. Took the squad 56 minutes, and
That's too long. That's not
acceptable.
And that's something that we talked to the race organizers about, that we will, like I said, we will insist on it next year. The end. We won't promote it. Because we were the entity that brought it to town. We were the ones who paid for it, and there was a lack of communication on their end, that they said they had their own, that each team brought their own, and that was not the case. Yes, they all brought a first aid kit. Nobody brought a medic. Right.
Great event.
Right, it's great. There's always room for growth, for sure.
The guy from Delaware that I had met, he had come down last year, and he was talking about Ron was so tough. He said him and his family was looking to relocate. He said, we've come down here for 3 years now, and he said, we love it. And that's what you want to hear when
absolutely. We've seen several people come back, do return trips, which is great.
So it went great, I think. Everything was good. We just had a few things that we had to work on.
As all events do, for sure. Okay, where's my place? Listen, I can't go off script here. Okay. Half marathon, that's right. Follow up from that Music and Miles half marathon. They're actively planning to return next year and expected double numbers. So we're looking at 700 to 800 runners. That's a lot of people. Walkers and their friends and family. So we're expecting 1,000 to 1,200 people to come to this town for this event. They're actively planning to move this race time to a night race, and would love to run through downtown Elizabethton down Elk Avenue to finish on the covered bridge, turning this event into the only glow, so like a glow race where you wear all the stuff that glows in the dark, a glow race half marathon in this region. We would be the only ones. How cool is that, right? And it's a big deal to be part of the Goose Chase, because they put on really big events. So we're excited for that. Another opportunity that we have seen coming to fruition is Meet the Mountains. Meet the Mountains has new representation from a recent job change. Kayla Carter has gone on to the ATC, and they have new representation. And there's an interest in possibly making this event rotate each year with different locations in our region. One of those would include Carter County, in particular into downtown Elizabethton. This event traditionally has been a 2-day weekend with vendors, expos, food, music, and fun with a concert and street fair on a Saturday night. They are interested in hosting it in downtown Elizabethton on Elk Avenue. All of these events result in tax revenue, return tourism, and like you talked about, people moving to this region, and a place to build new events. So those are what we've had coming up with our events. This is something we're excited about with tourism. I'll have to give the same speech next week to County Commission, but I wanted to make sure I talked to you all about it too. Some other notable things that have happened since I saw you last. 2 more notable anchor businesses have reached out with interest in coming to downtown Elizabethton and seemingly have walked away due to the 27 Saturday nights. That's more than half of the Saturday nights of the entire year being occupied by the car show. Where they report, not we report, the businesses that were interested have reported back to us. Their issue was the perceived parking problem that we have, and I explained to them, we don't have a parking problem, it's just a parking perception, but when you're a new business and you're looking to come here, all you see is the parking downtown. Their other issue is the skeptical business traffic that they would have during the car show, because some businesses do great and some don't. And then one thing that I thought was really notable was that they both said the recent hostility that they have seen all over social media is definitely a deterrent to them. And I can understand that we've heard about our community. My role is to work with businesses at the Chamber to help them grow and be successful, as well as bring tourism to our community. We offer a wide range of workshops, trainings, activities, and resources for our businesses. Everything from adult leadership and youth leadership to actually hand-holding a baby business in this very business, in this very building, to go through the steps to get their very first business license. We've hosted and sponsored and continue to support tourism activities in our community. Everything from a small music festival at Boots Off in Hampton to supplying additional funding for the ramp that's going under 400 with Go Betsy, and to pursuing big events like the Meet the Mountains event, possibly in 2022. I want to be very clear in this next statement. The Chamber has not and will not make a comment on a social media platform or a media interview concerning the car show because we feel it's counterproductive. We will speak here publicly because here's where change and compromise begin. We've had several suggestions of compromise, and at the very least, there's a place to start for compromise with City Council. We'll continue to stand behind that offer. We'll still continue to stand behind our need for compromise. We'll continue to offer to host a community conversation. Main Street and I both agreed to do it together to work with the car show to find a solution, and for the community as a whole to find a best fit where we all win. On a personal note, I would like to make a clarification from my last visit here. Last month, when I was last here last month, I never said the words, cancel the car show. I never said the words, run the car show out of town. Did you all hear me say that? You were here last month. I never said these words, but these words have been put in my mouth. We experienced our own pushback and fallout from my last visit, and I feel that it's mean-spirited and bullying tactic. I was clear. I was very clear. I spoke only about compromise where we all win. For our town to continue to grow, we have to rise above hostility, bullying, and nastiness and find a common ground. These are actions that are not only not tolerated by the Chamber of Commerce. We do not support actions or activity that actively promote boycotting a business or threaten destruction of life or property because they have a different perspective. Just like we don't tolerate racism or prejudice or inequality. We won't do it. There's several businesses that have applied to be Chamber members that we won't grant them membership because of where they stand with racial issues, because we don't support it. We know not all activity in the last 4 weeks has come from all car club members. We understand that. And it's not all car club members that we get this pushback and this hostility from, but there are some. We appreciate the attempts of the car club to curb the destructive activity of its attendees as well as its members. We've seen that, we recognize it, and we absolutely appreciate the efforts that they're making to try to make this calm down. We thought we saw this, that it's calming down. We want it to calm down because it's not productive for any of us. Our community in our town is great and has potential to be amazing. We have exciting opportunities on the horizon, and we haven't seen these before. This is new events, new growth, new businesses, new activities, new tax revenue. And a new opportunity for us to have our best foot forward. There is room for all of us when we compromise and we work together to create a win. I thank you for your understanding and encourage you to continue to go and talk to your business owners, right? Go talk, I know some of you have been out and around, you've talked to your business owners. Talk to your community, not just your community that's downtown. We are always happy to help. We are always happy to serve. We want to be a liaison for compromise. Do you have any questions for me? That was 2 minutes. I timed myself.
I got a question.
Okay.
I've been on the car club for a number of years. And it brought my attention that you put on Facebook that the people in the car club are thieves.
I did not. That is not from the Chamber of Commerce. You did not see that from the Chamber of Commerce.
Well,
And you did not see that from me.
the people, I took up a lot of money in the car club. And we're as honest as day is possible.
Nobody is saying that you're not. But you're not gonna put words in my mouth and say I said
I'm
something.
not
or
trying to
posted
put
something.
no word in your mouth, I just asked you a question.
Okay,
And, if you did, you're not.
I didn't. What is your question?
And so, if you didn't say it, then fine. If you did say it, then you're wrong.
I didn't.
And I just want to
What's
set the
your question?
record straight. Nobody in that car club that takes up money are thieves.
Okay,
In fact, the people in that car club were probably the upper level of the citizens of Elizabethton, Tennessee. Nobody's broke, nobody's bent. We do it all out of love of our heart.
did you have a
That's all.
question?
That was it.
Okay.
I asked you a question, if you.
We never, you, we.
Yeah,
like
I
I
did
said-
too, you didn't hear it.
Oh, I did, and we did
I
not make
said,
that
did
statement.
you or did you not?
No,
And you said no, and so I shut up
I challenge you
about
to fight.
that.
Thank you.
Any other questions for me? Great.
Anyone else?
Hello, I'm Dan Britt, I got Big Dan's Barbecue downtown. And, I was born in Elizabethton, I'm 55, my whole family lives here. We love this town, I don't have no issues with anybody, I just want what's the best for downtown. And I've heard the argument about parking spaces not being available, and that's the reason it's bad. But if somebody can tell me how thousands of people coming downtown and spending money in our businesses that are open is a bad thing. I had 5 cars in my 3 spaces I have from the car show. You think I cared? I paid my whole payroll with what I made between 5 and 8 o'clock during that car show. And then, like, what's the definition of commerce? It's people doing revenue and commuting, having commerce and fellowship. I mean, if that ain't what that is, and I'm not trying to talk about it, I'm just telling you from my point of view. While those people that have the cars, and if anybody don't know, thinks they're just a bunch of rednecks, if you know anybody that ever cherry picked a car out of a barn or whatever and then restored it, it ain't no cheap job. And while they're sitting there talking about their cars, guess what the other people are doing? They're buying ice cream and antiques and pizza and barbecue, and I do not gossip. If you don't hear it from my mouth, I didn't say it. I will tell you straight up, I don't have no hard feelings with nobody. Me and the tap house had a little scuff when we first opened because the toilet stopped up, but we worked it out. That's what we do. Most of us in town are all friends and help each other out, and that's what we plan on doing the rest of the time we're here. I appreciate what y'all do, the problems you have to solve. God bless everybody that has a job like this, because I know it ain't easy. But that's my 2 cents worth, and if anybody can tell me how having thousands of people coming to businesses in a tiny little town that's raising money for children's charities and stuff, and ain't causing no problems there for park and, you know, that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Dan.
Hello, I am Jane Mullins. I'm the owner of the Peddler's Cart downtown at 404 East Elk Avenue. And although I know the car show is not on the agenda tonight, it was brought up, and so I feel like I need to say my little piece, and it won't take me but a couple of minutes. So, I'm here as a business owner. I'd like to make my short statement on why I feel like the car show is a great attraction for our downtown area. Number one, the car show attracts approximately 2,000 people every Saturday night. I have counted at least that many. So this increases our revenue, not just my business, but everybody in town. Not just downtown, but all over town, all in the city of Elizabethton. We have, they spend money at our hotels, at all of our shopping centers, our restaurants, and they spend money downtown. It brings a lot of tourists and returning tourists to our downtown. I know by talking to other merchants, I went up and down the street, every single merchant I talked to loves the car show. There was one who was neutral. Now, I understand there are people who have a problem with the parking space. I do understand that. And I feel like that there is some kind of a compromise that everyone can make to keep the car show other than one Saturday a month. If we do this one Saturday a month, we lose those 2,000 people coming into our town every Saturday night. Three nights a month. And if it rains, we don't even get one. Now, by talking to some of the other merchants, they have told me they will do over $1,000 between 5 and 8 o'clock. I myself and several other merchants I have talked to have told me that they triple on a Saturday what they do any day of the week because of the car show. The car show also, I mean, why anybody would want to get rid of it, I don't understand, because they do donate $25,000 a year to children